What you want her for? She can't help you.
Nobody can. You scared, ain't you? You should be. Christmas Eve is the scariest damn night of the year.
I'd be scared too, if I was you.
You know what happens Christmas Eve, don't you? You know all about Santa Claus.
He brings presents to all good boys and girls.
Your daddy told you that, didn't he? Well, I tell you something. Santa Claus only brings presents to them that's been good all year. To the ones that ain't done nothing naughty. Naughty. All the other ones. All the naughty ones. He punishes. What about you, boy? You've been good all year? You see Santa Claus tonight? You better run, boy. You better run for your life.
No advent calendar this year then. Well, I'm very intrigued. I think I might still watch it and still take the notes because I'd never heard of it until you mentioned it.
No,
I think I might still try and watch it this week. Well. And you said being French horror, it's always a winner in my eyes for the most part.
Yeah.
So
somebody was asking me the other day which countries produce the best horror. I was like, oh, that's a very good question.
I mean, French are up there. Well, they had a good period. Yeah, I'd say other than America, America's produced some of the best horror films. Other than America, England, UK, French, France and Japan. Probably, I'd say are some of your key ones.
Japan. I mean,
Korea,
Spain.
Spain.
A good few. There's been some good Spanish ones. There's been some good Argentinian films. There's been some decent
Canadian. I was about to say Canada.
Canada. Yeah.
The land of Canada.
Turkey.
Oh, are you thinking back on films I
am thinking back on films we've done, yeah. 100%.
That we've covered, yeah. I mean, yeah, we haven't. I think Valentine was Valentine. I think Valentine was Canadian. I know My Bloody Valentine is Canadian. I feel like we've done another Canadian horror film in the past. I don't think today's film is Canadian.
No.
I know we.
My Bloody Valentine is Canadian. Pontypool is also Canadian. Ginger Snaps and Cube. Canadian.
Oh, Cube's Canadian. Oh, great.
Yeah. Urban Legend.
Oh, yes. Love me some Urban Legend. Oh, Pin. Well, you weren't here for the Pin episode.
No, but I have seen Pin.
Pin's great. Pin's great.
Tucker and Dale versus Evil.
Fantastic. Yeah. The Gate. Yeah.
Infinity Pool. Christmas Horror Story. Skinamarink. Have you just Googled Canadian horror movies?
Yeah, of course I have. Of course I have. Skinamarink.
I've still not watched it.
No. That's been voted like top horror. I think it was either Rolling Stone or Variety. I'll try and find the article. Was voted the top horror of 2023.
Oh yeah. Speaking of votes for top horror of 2023, did you not see the tweet that I retweeted or reposted?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, oh my. Because it's got the same sort of cult, like, oh, this is edgy, this is cool following, like something like Skinamarink has got.
Yeah,
that's exactly what it is.
So, New York Times writer Eric Piepenberg selected The Outwaters.
That's not a real name. That's not a real name.
The Outwaters as the best horror movie of 2023. An experimental fever dream that is singularly thrilling. Bag of shite that is fucking rubbish. That's all I've got to say about that.
I found your tweet.
The
one retweeted from, it's a bloody disgusting tweet, which they had the article from New York Times. Yeah. In the picture here, which states, the picture that goes with the tweet from Bloody Disgusting, I'm not sure who's saying this, but my two favourite horror movies this year took apples and oranges paths to clock me in the face and rip my heart out. The Outwaters starts as a light-hearted found footage. What's light-hearted about it?
I mean,
they're just walking through the desert. It's not like they're running.
Film a music video. I don't know.
I have 4 friends on a trip to the desert, but almost an hour. Look, this says it right here. But almost an hour in, an hour.
Yeah, that's not a plus point.
Why is that
not a plus point?
But almost an hour in. Ooh.
I was ready to kill myself.
A silhouetted figure appears in the dark distance, which, when that happened, I got Hills Have Eyes vibes, and I was still in a bit. I was okay.
And that's what I was expecting to happen. Yeah.
And that's when the writer-director Robert Banfitch shifts into gut-punching high gear with a frenzied maelstrom of screams and grunts aren't things happening.
I mean, it's that really irritating bit where the shaky cam running around in the dark and you can't make out what's going on.
Shit. Yeah.
So it's not scary. It's just annoying.
Creatures and guts. Yeah, creatures being the little worm things. The result is an experimental fever dream, a sustained and visually stunning sensory assault. It was an assault, all right.
It was definitely an assault.
I could smell fear. That's singularly thrilling. Turn up the volume for a true razor's edge experience.
He's been paid for. That's a backhand of that. He's been bunged a bit of money.
Yeah,
it was terrible, pretentious shite.
One thing that really bothered me with that film is, and folks, if you are listening to this and haven't checked out our Outwaters review, I'll put it up in the cards here. Just go click there and go check out our seething review of this independent horror film. Sorry, independent horror film of the year. The Outwaters was about, after the horror starts, it's when he's got the camera and he's awoken, covered in blood, naked, and all the audio of him is just, well, what do you do? What? Where am I? Oh no! Oh, it's just baffling. It's just,
and then the occasional screech of a little graboid worm whizzing past. Awful business.
It's a 2022 release.
I thought that's
official release of 2022.
So you can't just you can't just count films you've watched this year as films of the year. That's not how that works.
Exactly.
In which case, The Wicker Man is my horror film of 2023.
Yep. Doesn't work like that. Does not work like that. But moving on to just anything better than that, we'll go with this Dreadcast episode. Episode fucking hell.
66.
66. What's that in bingo?
Clickety click.
Yeah, why not? Clickety click. 66. Ho ho ho. Merry Christmas to everyone out there for this Christmas period. My name is Tom. It's the lovely Brian Blessed. Oh, there we go. Thank you. I was I say Brian Blessed, you can't just not do an impression.
Gordon's alive! There you go.
We can end it there. That was beautiful. That was beautiful. Golf clap for you.
I went to see Brian Blessed doing a bit of a spoken word tour a couple of years back, and it was the first thing he shouted when he walked on stage. Gordon's alive! And obviously everybody cheered and roared, and he sort of went, right, that's out of the way.
I was just about to say, he probably just wanted these fucking fans, they're just going to keep asking for it. Just, I'll get it out of the way now. But yes, welcome back to our second Christmas installment today. I've jazzed it up a bit more with my Homer Simpson Christmas jumper. The shirt
I have abandoned all traces of Christmas. I mean, my Santa hat is here.
Well, I think that you get it on now.
Get it? Yes.
Otherwise, you're fired. You're fired, and there'll be no redundancy pay.
Trying to put it over the old.
You're putting it over
the old earphones. There.
That's a big hat as well.
It is a big hat. I've got a big head.
Oh, Santa hat. Punish! Punish!
Naughty!
Oh, let it slip. A little teaser for today's episode. Yes, which we will be talking about. The great Christmas horror film, Silent Night, Deadly Night. In a short while, but we have some bits just to get into beforehand. If you didn't check out last week's episode, our first Christmas horror film we checked out, Christmas Bloody Christmas, which was Aidan's pick, which means he will not be picking ever again.
It wasn't that bad.
I found out, I said it on the last week's episode.
It wasn't that good.
Well, the thing that let Christmas Bloody Christmas down was the script, which we said, right? The script is horrendous. But do go check out our episode on it, and we don't bash it as much as the Outwaters.
No.
But yeah, you can find that episode here. I'm going to put the card here if I can remember. Probably won't. But I did say in that episode,
in the other corner.
it's going to be there, and it's going to be a link to another YouTube channel.
It's somewhere around here.
Hey, just click the like, subscribe, and comment button here, right here. I said, so the dialogue is all from Christmas Bloody Christmas, and I said I was going to go and look at how many F-bombs are dropped.
Oh, yeah.
All the way up until Santa, they discover Santa Terminator is doing the killing, doing the business.
Okay.
Of course, I didn't go back and watch the film, count it. I'm not a madman. No. But I found someone else on the internet who had done it for me.
Oh, nice. Good stuff.
Someone that counts the amount of F-bombs in each film. How many F-bombs do you think happened in the first... It was about 30 to 40 minutes before Santa.
Yeah, 45 minutes-ish.
How many do you think? Ballpark figure.
Oh. I'm going to go... I feel like this is going to be too conservative, but I'm going to go 75.
200. 200 F-bombs. All in that space of the awful dialogue where they're not even like, fuck, it's him, fuck, it's...
Yeah, no, it's just literally two characters talking normally, like as if we were now, but every other word is an F this and F that.
200.
I mean,
I remember when South Park movie was coming out, and it was a whole big deal of like, this film has got the most swear words ever in a film. A step aside, bigger, longer uncut.
The thing is, though, there was like, it's the use of them, isn't it? I don't have an issue with swearing. I don't mind. It's fine. But it was like a child that's been told they're allowed to say some swear words for the first time. It was like just cramming them in at every available.
It was a child who wrote that script, basically.
Yeah. It was more than just like swearing as punctuation. It was literally like 1 fuck and fuck, 2 fuck, 3. It was just like
it was
literally
unbearable. Like I said, I got to a point of I want to turn this off, but I need to do my homework. I want to turn this film off. It's so bad. So do go check it out. It's quite a shorter review than our normal ones, but check it out. It's a fun episode. One point of news before we get on to what I'm very excited for you to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. The studio behind the Friday the 13th game put out another post just reminding everyone that the game will no longer be available come 31st of December.
Yeah. The asymmetrical
So
multiplayer one.
You will not be able to buy the game from 31st of December, 1st of January onwards, physically or digitally. It's going to be gone. So get it now if you're a collector and want a nice little piece for your game collection or your horror collection, which I did. I picked it up on Amazon because I felt I'm absolutely broke, but I was like, the way I'm looking at my broke self at the moment, right? I don't have any money for like treats. Like, I'm not going to just go buy. I haven't bought a game, for instance. I'll use an example here, or about 4K for a long time. But if it's like a once in a lifetime sort of thing, then I'm going to do it. Got myself a Slipknot ticket the other day.
Oh yeah,
because that's like it's going to happen. Then that's it. It's done.
Yeah,
So I'm fine to be in debt for that. So the Friday the 13th game, it was £16 on Amazon. I picked it up. It was a PS4. I probably won't play it, but it's kind of a piece of history in a way. It's not major. But it's a little bit of history.
And,
so
as a horror fan and all the rest of it,
yeah,
it's a good thing for your horror collection. I mean, there is supposedly. I don't think there's been any news on it for a while, but there is going to be a new Friday the 13th game at some point.
Is there now?
Yeah, we have talked about it previously. Harry Manfredini mentioned that he was working on music for one. I think it was sort of back in June this was mentioned. There's been absolutely no news on it since, I don't think.
Well, it's the same with like Crystal Lake, the prequel show. It's kind of gone a bit quiet.
So... yeah, we'll see. I suppose we'll see what comes of that and whether it's going to end up being a victim of the whole licensing issues.
So yeah, the game's not available for 1st of January, but the servers will be online for all of next year until the end of the year. So pick it up at least, and if you want to play it, you get to play it for another year. If you don't,
it's worth playing
for your horror collection. Yeah,
it's worth playing. It's worth having a little go with. I've had a lot of fun with it, and there's a lot of interesting kills, fun maps, lots of Easter eggs for fans. There's a I think it's called the virtual cabin, and it's just a POV walk around in one of the houses. I can't forget which one it is, but it's one of the houses from the movies, one of the lake houses, whatever. And there's a lot of little tidbits and making of things and little Easter eggs and stuff. So yeah, there's some fun things. And before they lost the licensing, they were updating with, I think you've got all the Jasons up to part 8, I believe.
Manhattan.
Yes.
I think they've also got Tom Savini's it's either Tom Savini or Nicotero's design where it's like him on fire.
Yeah.
Really cool. I'm just going to try and have a look now.
I am just on the website for the game.
Oh, cool. It is Gun Studios, right? The same studio that created Texas Chainsaw. It's like they basically moved on from. Yeah. Do you reckon you'll pick Texas Chainsaw game up at some point?
I think I will at some point. Again, for the same reason that you've just picked up the Friday the 13th game, just to have. And I won't mind another go at it now it's been fully released and there's a little bit more content and stuff. That's
the thing. I'd love to have a few sessions with you. I think because we never did. When the technical test, we did it separately. And I think it'd be good fun. I still haven't got around to playing it. I haven't had the time. I just have not had the time because it's not a game you can sit and pick up and play. It's a game you need to sit down for a specific time to play. So hopefully in the future, if you do get it, it'd be good to.
We'll sort it out. We'll sort it out in the new year. I'll pick it. I will pick it up, and we can do something with it definitely.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Right.
Yeah. Well.
Oh, sorry.
Go on then. No.
I was going to say. Santa sent you a present, sir.
Santa did send me a present, and I have it right here.
There it is.
Why
is it opened?
I opened it. I tell you, I will. I have not looked in it. Hand on heart, I have not looked in it. But I just thought, it might be fiddly and awkward to open on air, as it were. So I thought, if I just cut the tape and then I can just open it up. So that's all I've done. I promise I have not opened it fully.
So
shall I now, though?
Go for it. I sent Aidan a little care package, and I also want to say it's down to thank you very much for this year because you've been awesome, and I've enjoyed every episode we've done. And here's to many more.
I love these things. This is great.
Oh, I always keep
Starring
them.
Chips, my favourite.
I always keep them. Oh yeah, that's what it is. It's a box of them for you.
I know, this is the best. This is the best thing ever. I'm going to get them all over the floor. I think I just need to embrace it. We have
What
a
do we
DVD
have?
copy of The Suckling.
What do we have, Aidan?
A DVD copy of The Suckling, a.k.a. Savage Baby.
What is The Suckling, Aidan?
It is a body horror frightening that goes where fear flicks would ever dare by focusing on an aborted fetus which comes into contact with some radioactive slime and ends up with a new lease of life. I don't need to read anymore because this sounds right up my street.
Who else got a copy of The Suckling?
Something tells me we might be reviewing this at some point.
Now, I'm aware of this film. I have seen a review on it. Wild is not the word to describe this film. So that will be interesting. But yeah, well, there you go.
Oh, what else have we got? Oh, nice! VHS copy of Evil Dead 2. Excellent. Oh, that is brilliant. I love that cover.
There we go.
That classic.
That's the best poster for the film. Even if there's many others, that's the best one.
The classic. See it, then scream. Absolute cracking film. Beautiful, man. Thank you very much.
Well, it's not quite The Suckling, but...
It's not quite The Suckling, but, you know, it's up there. And then, I'm rooting around in the polystyrene. I think I've got the rest of the things. So we have a little Chucky keyring.
Hey!
He is very cool. He's very, very cool. And I until recently I had what's it called? Le Mannequin P, the little Belgian boy fountain. It's a very famous statue in Belgium, but the little boy is having a wee.
Right, okay.
So a friend of mine went to Belgium and got me a little keyring, and I lost it recently. It fell off, so I can have little boy with a knife, little doll with a knife as a replacement.
Yep,
that is very good. Love a bit of Chucky. And then t-shirt.
Here we go. It might not fit though.
Okay.
Here we go. Yeah.
It's the Valentine. It is the Valentine t-shirt. That might fit, you know. You know what? Just give me a second. I'll go and put it. I'll put it on.
Put your Christmas shirt on.
I will put my Christmas Valentine t-shirt on. That's amazing.
I'm glad that shirt fits though, because I saw it XL. I just size is different everywhere. Like I normally wear XL or 2XL because I like the bagginess, but I'm 6'3".
I mean, it's the same. I usually go for XX, but this is it's all right. It's a little snug, but you know.
Well, you make the commitment for one of your favorite horror films. You know, you just make the commitments. Here we go.
Definitely. Well, this is it.
As far as a group thing for the channel, we now have 2 pieces of Valentine merch. We need that soundtrack, the new metal soundtrack CD.
We do. I mean, it's rapidly becoming a favorite movie of the channel, isn't it? Isn't it just? It's overtaking Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and dare I say it, even The Wicker Man. It's a Valentine channel now, folks.
The Valentine cast. Oh boy. Well, I'm glad you like it all. You're more than welcome.
Thrilled to bits. Thank you very much.
This is insane.
Very much looking forward to this. It's got an aborted fetus and toxic waste, toxic slime, even. You know,
there's no pictures on the back for a reason.
That's always a good sign.
Yeah. It's a shame. I wish I was kind of watching it with you because I think that would be really fun to watch.
There is
it.
a reversible sleeve with alternate artwork for this.
Is there? I didn't see that.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's one of the bonus features. Reversible sleeve with alternate artwork. We could always do a watch party over Discord.
We might have to actually
and watch it together.
It's a really long 76 minutes. Oh boy, right. That's that's Christmas overdone then. That's all done.
Yep. That's finished now. Apart from today's movie, Silent Night, Deadly Night. One of my favourite Christmas horror films. I put this 2 years in a row in my top 50 horror films. And what I love about doing this podcast, also with yourself, is that sometimes we talk about films where one of us have not seen. So you get fresh eyes. You have never seen this film. I had never seen this film.
Until now,
I have now seen this film.
Yes.
And what a treat.
What a treat this film is.
I loved it.
It is superb. It is absolutely superb.
I was aware of it. It's crazy, it crops up on, like you say, favourite horror lists and various documentaries and things like that. But yeah, not one that I'd ever got around to watching before. But yeah, I put it on the other night, and I got to admit, when it started, I was a little bit like, this is probably going to be a little bit fish.
At what point were you thinking that?
I mean, apart the worst, see, it gets going straight away. There's some good moments right from the beginning. I've got to admit that. But after sort of a couple of early moments, and I thought like, yeah, okay, this might be a little bit, and it was just some of the orphanage stuff, and I was thinking like, right, this is all fairly predictable, but ultimately it didn't matter. And by the end, I was like, yes, that was absolutely amazing. Loved it. So entertaining.
How many horror films can you somewhat be a bit on the side of the killer being like, I understand him a bit, actually.
Oh, yeah, definitely. That's a fair
I actually
point.
understand why he's gone a bit crazy.
I mean, what I did say is, like, quite early on is, okay, yeah, this just once again proves nuns are evil. Like, 100%.
But it's the way they put their religious beliefs before having any remorse towards beating a kid.
Yeah.
That's what's insane about it. Religious beliefs like that, and how they should be pure. Like the two people later on that our main kid sees having sex. Like it's wrong. It's wrong. Yeah. You must be beaten. That comes before anything like related to beating a kid.
No, in sort of one fell swoop, it's like, okay, you experienced something traumatic, but you should be over that. Just get over that. Like, why are you still talking about that? And sex is evil, so we'll give you. You must be punished. We'll give you a complex about that. It's like this poor kid was just doomed to have some sort of episode right from the beginning because,
your parents were killed by a guy dressed in a Santa outfit horrifically. So you're going to sit on that Santa's lap and you're going to have a good
presumably repeatedly forced to take part in every Christmas related.
Yeah.
I mean, even when we get a little bit further down the line and we get grown up Billy going for the job in a toy store, like of all the places that this kid for like presumably 10 years. He's about 8, isn't he, or something when it starts?
He's very young when he starts. Yeah,
something like that. So for around 10 years. So that's 10 Christmases where he's still been living in this orphanage and dealing with this trauma. And then they go, right, you're 18 now, Billy. We're gonna get you a job, toy store.
At Christmas,
a couple of months before Christmas. Yeah. As one final nail in the coffin, sprinkle of salt in the wound. It's like, go on do that.
It's a fantastic film. It really is. It spawned 4 sequels.
It did. I know. Yeah.
Only aware of the second one, but the second film, half of it is basically flashbacks of the first film.
Right.
It's like they reused most of the first film, and I believe it's his younger brother Ricky.
See, we get the bait for that at the end of this one, don't we? I figured that would be.
Which makes sense. He's traumatized. He's completely traumatized.
I mean, speaking of trauma, they are not short of traumatized kids to choose from.
No. Oh, are we talking about the unfortunate Santa killing?
Yes.
It's just
hilarious.
I was going to
save this till later, but I very much want to talk about.
Let's do it. That's fine. It's fine.
I didn't actually catch his name, but Father, whatever.
He was a deaf priest.
A priest. A priest.
Okay,
visiting. Right. Go on.
Let's just before we get to that,
setup, haven't we?
So the main killer of the slasher Silent Night Deadly Night is Billy, who at a young age witnesses his parents killed by a crackhead, I don't know, dressed up in a Santa outfit, which then causes trauma throughout his life, where he lives in an orphanage. The nuns are abusive to him, more trauma, blah blah blah, and his PTSD just kicks into full gear with his when he starts to work in the toy shop you alluded to. His trigger is Santa, because obviously Santa is what he saw kill his parents, and he becomes the killer dressed up as Santa. And for most of the second half of the film, he's going around killing people as Santa.
Yeah, he's on a killing spree dressed as Santa.
The Santa you're talking about now, which we need to talk about, is a Santa who is coming up to the orphanage just on his own, looking very creepy, but the police have been on the lookout for Billy.
Yeah, it's close to the climax of the film, and the police are looking for Billy, and believing maybe heading towards the orphanage, so we have an officer en route.
But they're told shoot to kill. Shoot to kill a Santa.
He arrives. He sees Santa approaching a child. He shouts, "Stop! Freeze! Or I'll shoot!" Or words to that effect. And well, I mean, yeah, they don't give him much time to react, but there's no reaction. So, pow, pow, pow. Santa is dropped.
Yep.
And the call goes out on the radio. We've got him. We've got him. So meanwhile, it's one of the nuns from the orphanage, the nice nun who was always a little bit more sympathetic to him.
The nice one.
And the detective in charge of the case, or whatever, they're here on the radio. That Billy's been killed. A couple of minutes later, word comes through to say the description of this Santa we've just shot is not the description of Billy.
It's not Billy.
It's not Billy.
It's not Billy.
And at which point, the nun remembers that it was a priest that they had come in to see the kids dressed as Santa. Father, whatever his name was. And to which the officer replies, "Well, he didn't respond when
he's deaf.
We called him because he's deaf. Because he's deaf."
Oh God! At the point when the cop shoots him, the camera work is, you see the squibs go off in the back of the Santa. He falls down, and then kid's standing there with blood on his face.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's honestly, it needs to be spoken about straight away, because it's broad daylight, Christmas morning, and Santa is gunned down in front of an orphanage, orphanage full of children. Like, every kid in the place is out there excited to see Santa.
All they have is hope. Santa's been gunned down.
So you can churn out 30 sequels to this, because there are 30 kids traumatized at the death of the death of Santa. But it's after that, it's after the reveal that it was the deaf priest, and they just go, "All right, so Billy's still out there then," and nobody gives a shit that an innocent man has just been killed.
No.
And the copper that's done it is then talking to the Mother Superior, and he's like, "Well, I'm here for your protection." and stick with me and everything will be fine. It's like, hang on a minute, you've just mistakenly shot an innocent man. Your gun should be in an evidence bag right now, on its way to internal affairs. Like, you were absolutely not responsible.
And this is at the beginning of him arriving at the orphanage.
Yeah.
After he kills him, you say he's creepy. He's back to patrolling. He's
There's
super
like
cool.
30 minutes of him like going around the building and like pointing his gun all over the place. Like, this man is not competent. Like,
this Santa is still lying in the ground, bleeding out.
And nobody cares that they shot him. And it's honestly it was that point when I went, this is the greatest film I've ever watched. I absolutely love it.
Yes.
It was so good. So good, yeah. I was in tears laughing.
The film isn't a comedy. It's not a comedy, and it's not
certainly not
B-movie-esque. It's not B-movie-esque to the point of this is so shit it's funny. It's just fun.
It's just fun. But as well as being fun, it's got a nice, but it's got a believable story.
Yeah,
There's a reason. So there's a reason for Billy to go on a killing spree. He's not just crazy like Michael Myers or you know, an undead monster like Jason or anything like that. We get the first half of the film is basically sort of repeat and readdressing and sort of hammering home this idea that he's gone through a traumatic experience and it's still affecting him in later life, and you know we are waiting for that sort of straw that breaks the camel's back, as it were. It's we're waiting for that. We know that he's been traumatized and it's going to come to a head, and that's what we see. And it's a nice, intelligent.
Sorry,
I was going to say, nice, intelligent story. It's it makes sense.
His trauma kind of actually spawns from right at the beginning, where they go to visit. Is it his granddad? Yeah, who is a psychopath in the dementia home. He's a psychopath. They go to God. So it's Billy, his younger brother Ricky, who's a baby, he's like a few months old maybe, and the parents, and they go to visit the granddad at the dementia home. But then there's no one else in this room apart from the granddad. I
mean, they go off.
His catatonic grandfather, yeah. They just leave him there. They leave Billy alone with the granddad.
They go off to take care of some admin, and it's sort of alluded to that Grandpa he's been non-verbal for a while.
Yeah.
Because he's so far into his dementia or what have you. So they're like, yeah, you stay with Grandpa. We're going to go off and do whatever it is we do. And then, literally the second they leave the room, Grandpa turns to him with this big grin on his face and just unleashes this horrendously traumatic speech about how if he's not a good boy, Santa's going to come and punish him to death and all of this.
You better be scared of Santa, boy. Which really doesn't help with what happens next.
No.
Where we are shown just a guy dressed up as a Santa outfit robbing a convenience store. Not giving a fuck, shooting the teller no matter what. Really, like, pops him in the chest twice and the head. And he gets $31, I think he said. And then he's encountered a couple minutes later by Billy and his parents on the road. He's sort of flagging them down in the car. Yeah,
he's trying to get he's either gonna carjack them or he's gonna he's hitching for a ride or whatever. He's trying to
kills the dad, shoots through the window, kills the dad, drags the mum out of the car. I don't know if this says anything about me, and it's probably not good, but I think remember...
I know what you're gonna say here, but go on.
Oh, that doesn't help even more, Aidan. You assume I would say what I'm about to say.
Well, I think I had a similar
I remember our villain at this moment having his way with Billy's mum.
See,
yeah. I'm glad he didn't, but that's just what I remembered from the first watching of the film.
Well, I mean, he definitely sort of rips her top open and makes a suggestive comment. And I feel like in some of the flashbacks that Billy experiences throughout the film. We get to see a little bit more each time, or a slightly different version of it. And I took it as it's implied. I think it's implied that he did. I don't know, if there are different cuts of the film. There wasn't actually a full-on essay scene in the version I watched, but I think I got the impression that it was an implication. There was a heavy implication that that's what had happened.
Okay.
So yeah, he assaults and kills the mother.
Yeah, brutally. Just again, no remorse. Just kind of enjoying it in a way. And also is looking for Billy, because Billy manages to escape and just hides down the side of the road. Doesn't do anything with Ricky, the baby. Doesn't go after him. Doesn't kidnap him. We don't actually see him steal the car. He doesn't get in the car and drive off. So don't really know what happens, because obviously Ricky ends up with Billy in the end at the orphanage.
Yeah.
So we don't really know what happens there. I don't know if it's said anything on the synopsis here. Yeah, Billy flees, hides, leaving his baby Ricky in the car. Yeah, nothing really of note there. It goes straight onto the orphanage, which is a hellscape. Yeah, absolute hellhole. Absolute hellhole. We flash forward 3 years to 8-year-old Billy and 4-year-old Ricky in an orphanage run by Mother Superior. Now, I didn't know as well that that's not actually her name. That's what a woman in her position of, I don't know, the hierarchy of being that nun is called, Mother Superior. I had no idea.
Yeah, it's a title.
But Christ, it's horrible. It's so horrible to watch the way they treat the kids.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think my note here just says, nuns are the real evil in the world.
Yeah, right?
I mean,
horrible.
I don't have much experience with nuns.
You don't?
I think I served one in a shop once. But my dad was taught by nuns when he was at school, when he was a kid, like infant school, junior school. He was taught by nuns, and he has nothing nice to say about the way that they were they treated people. Incredibly brutal, sadistic, corporal punishment. I mean, this is the days of the cane, and a bit of corporal punishment was dished out if you stepped out of line. And yeah, he swears blind that they took great sadistic pleasure in caning kids and just generally being horrible. And that's very much what we see in this. Yeah, the Mother Superior in particular has absolutely little to no sympathy for Billy's plight. As we said, she basically says, well, that was years ago, he should have got over it by now. But rather than just sort of leave him alone, she actively is trying to make him engage with Christmas and things like that when he's clearly not comfortable with it and suffering.
Like sitting on Santa's lap at Christmas Day.
Yeah. But just to talk about that, he's got a mean right hook on him. Incredible
for an 8-year-old.
A grown man. That's 8-year-old kid lays out and breaks the nose of a fully grown man.
Yeah.
I mean, even if it's a sucker punch, he properly sends him flying.
Yeah.
That's a good effort right there.
Yeah, we don't really get too much. That's pretty much it for an 8-year-old Billy. There's also the drawing. Do we see the drawing he
I don't think we see the drawing, do we? That's the first bit. So they're drawing some,
in the class.
Christmas pictures, and I assume it's a drawing of what happened to his parents, essentially. I don't think we ever get to see it. He's and then we also have the bit where he spies on the older kids, the teenagers, having a little loving,
who get beaten up as well,
who also get whipped for being wicked and sinful. So that he's instilled with this notion that sex is evil, and you should be punished for it. And again, this sort of, if you are wicked or evil or sinful in any way, you should be punished, like punishing the naughty.
anyway, Ned Flanders may as well be running this orphanage. Like, it's a sin to do anything, absolutely anything.
Yeah, it's hardcore Catholic dogma.
So after you kind of see these two segments of Billy at different young ages as sort of the intro to the real film, which is what we then get into, which is Billy, who's got those Saved by the Bell genes, at 17 years old, looking more of a man than either of us.
He is huge, ripped, buff,
unreal. At 17, gets a job at Ira's IRA, however you want to say it, Ira's toy store, where the boss Sims, he makes the comment of a very dated comment, obviously, of I need need a real man, not a boy. I wouldn't be surprised if somewhere in the script he would have also said not a woman or a boy, a real man to move heavy boxes in the back.
Yeah, he's assuming that the kid from the orphanage is literally a kid from the orphanage. Yeah. Which again, he's like absolutely like there's not an issue in his mind that a nun is offering him a child labour from.
Fine, it's fine.
Which suggests that that's what they're doing elsewhere in town. It's like, oh, you need some small hands to get into those like dangerous machines. We've got a bunch of kids here that aren't going to be doing much. Like, feel free. Poisonous fumes, is it? They'll be all right.
It's fine. They got fresh lungs. Also, if Billy is like this, and they're saying he's from the orphanage, so has he literally just now come from the orphanage? Is he still staying there? Because if he is, he's at a position to whip Mother Superior's ass.
I mean, yeah, but he's also quite a nice boy, isn't he? Because we going forward from this point, we get another sort of series of scenes that show him being the best darn stock boy he could possibly be, and
we get one of my favourite bits of the film, the montage.
Very much being a good boy. I did just want to talk a little bit more about the store in general, though, because it has all the vibe of being like a mom and pop, like independent store in what's we don't see much of the town, but it's again get the impression that it's not a huge place.
No, the thing with the store though, when you said like we don't really get to see much of the town, you notice all the front facade is just glass, but it's painted.
Yeah,
it's painted. So it gave me the feeling of, is this actually a set? They couldn't get a real store to like shoot in. Yeah, so if it's a set, they can paint that without having to show something in the background, like a road and another building. Just have it painted. But you do see the outside of the store at times.
Yeah, you do.
But every window is painted.
But it's painted with like a Christmassy thing, isn't it? Snow scene or whatever. It's like some sort of extra happy holidays message. But yeah, like I say, we get the vibes that it's this small town mom and pop store. But then also it has like a huge, massive stockroom operation as well that implies they're getting like huge deliveries in and or sending out big shipments. It's like it's both a small town mom and pop toy store and the head office of Toys R Us at the same time. It's really bizarre.
The stockroom feel like, I mean, it kind of felt like like one you said, one of those mom and pop stores, but it feels like a bit of a market. I felt like inside they've got such a surplus. And it doesn't. I don't know. Some of the toys, like they showed a lot of branded stuff, like Muppets, Star Wars toys.
Oh yeah, there's one scene in particular. It's right in front of a bunch of Jabba the Hutt toys and definitely Star Wars Kenner, the old Kenner line of Star Wars toys.
But then we also see later on they have bow and arrows in there.
I mean, they have an axe on the wall.
The axe that wasn't even behind glass. It's just sat comfortably in its nice little pouch on the wall at arm's length that you could just pick up. It doesn't sound an alarm.
Quite easily could have got
well, a child does get it, actually. I mean, because he's not 18 by the time he gets it. So yeah, so the montage. It was real cheesy because I don't think the song was doing what I think it was doing, where the lyrics are explaining what's happening in the montage. I think Family Guy have done this joke before, but like the lyrics may as well have been, he's stacking the shelves, yeah, he's got some boxes in his arms, and now he's gonna help a customer. He's gonna ring up. Like it was so cheesy.
It could have been.
It was so
you were kind
cheesy.
of like the intro to like old sitcoms and stuff.
Yes.
You kind of expected him to just like turn to the camera with her at some point, you know, like introducing, you know, Billy whatever, and he goes.
yeah, exactly.
Definitely big cheesy grin as his name comes up. Yeah, definitely.
Mr. Sims.
Yeah.
Mother Superior. All of them.
Yeah, looking really stern and then smile, like having falling about laughing, patting each other on the back. Yeah, and it was good. And he's like, he's straightening shelf items, and we did get a scene where he is straightening up something on a shelf, and Mr. Sims like comes out and sees him and goes, gives him like an
Thumbs
approving,
up, Billy.
like, the kid's doing good. So yeah, he's on a road to being the best darn stock boy he can ever.
He'll be the
can
best.
ever possibly be.
He'll be the best until he isn't the best, until he gets triggered big time. But there's also, so at this store you've got Sims, you've got an older lady who, I guess she's maybe a floor manager. She's the one that gets killed by the bow and arrow.
Yeah.
You've got the stockroom manager maybe who's a douchebag.
Yeah.
Who looks like young Joe Pesci.
He does look like young Joe Pesci, definitely.
Who I found out is 28 at this point. He's 28 years old and looks about 40.
Yeah, there's a lot of that in this movie.
There is, and there's a young woman. I didn't catch her name.
I think there's a couple of young women
that work there.
That work there that are like presumably checkout.
Yeah.
People, but there's one in particular who
she's kind of falling for him.
Yeah, her and Billy seem to have what a developing love interest. They seem to be. What's she called? I can't remember what she was called now. Was it?
I genuinely can't remember. I know he's called Randy. Ellie is the mother from the beginning. Randy is young Joe Pesci, I believe. It could be Cindy.
I feel like her name is mentioned a few times, but damned if I can remember what it is.
I know it's not Denise because that's Linnea Quigley, who we see later on.
Yeah.
Obviously getting the top off as she does in everything.
Yes.
God bless her. But yeah, so that's pretty much our gang at the store, and we have a problem. We don't have a Santa. We don't have a Santa for the kids to sit on.
The store.
What are we going to do?
Has broken his foot or something. There's a reason why you can't turn in. So
what are we going to do?
Well, we get the new stock boy.
We get the new boy,
Billy.
the newbie. Yeah,
Billy will do it.
Yeah. Oh, well, Billy will do it without even asking him. We know he'll do it. We'll know he'll do it.
But again, this is just a sort of in the real world for a second. Like you go to work, you have a problem with Santa Claus to the point where, because we have an earlier moment where there's that banner unveiling, and he has a very sort of like obvious over the top sort of facial tick response to seeing this Santa Claus, where he's like, "Oh."
It's a little minor trigger that just hits in his head. Yeah.
You know, you'd probably have a word with your boss, wouldn't you? Especially when he says, "We need you to dress up as Santa." You go, "Well, you see, the thing is, my parents were killed by Santa. I'm probably not going to do this."
I know it sounds weird. I'm sorry, Mr. I know it sounds weird, but I just can't. It's like, well, why, Billy? Why? I mean, come on, it's just Santa. It's like, okay, you really want to know the truth? This happened to me as a kid, and ever since then, it's just plagued my mind. It freaks me out too much, and it brings back horrible memories. Oh, Billy, that's silly. Come on now. Yeah, and Do you know what though? When he takes on the job as Santa. That first kid is a pain in the arse. That little girl that is sitting on his lap, because I'll give it to Billy at this point. He's trying. He's been very calm. He's not shouting at her.
He is. Yeah.
Please sit still. Please. She is fidgeting as hell.
Yeah.
Get her out of here. She doesn't deserve a present.
Yeah. She doesn't help the situation, but he does handle it well, and even some of the parents comment that he's very good and he's doing well.
Until he does shout at her. And tells her that you on.
I mean, yeah,
naughty and punished.
I think I did comment on this point that nobody in this film can read a room. Like nobody can actually. The parents like, oh, he's very good. He's like, clearly this is not going well. Nobody has noticed like Billy increasingly twitchy as Christmas gets nearer and nearer, and more Santas are around the place. Like nobody. They send him to work in a toy store before Christmas. They make him sit on Santa's lap as a child. Like nobody can read the fucking room in this movie at all.
Nope, not one. And it's the same day, I believe, which is their last day of the store being open. They have a little.
I think it's Christmas Eve.
Yeah,
I think Mr. Sims says it's Christmas Eve. We've only got like 7 hours, and then all of this is over.
Yeah, and then when it is over, they're like, "Way!"
and they have the most depressing staff party I've ever seen in my life. Three bottles of whiskey come out from under the counter.
Yeah,
and they all just basically start pounding shots.
Yeah,
Sims seeming like he's started a little bit earlier than everybody else because he is slurring and very like close to being completely incoherent by the time.
Oh, it's on the regular for him.
Yeah. And he's basically with Billy. Stick with me, kid. I'll look after you. Like he's forcing him to drink alcohol. So yeah, a little bit of it's quite a depressing staff. It's quite a depressing party. So the stock boy, the other stock manager, decides to get a little bit handsy without permission to liven things up.
He does, but at the same time, she's fine with it.
I mean,
she's absolutely fine with it.
This is the thing. So it's the same. Did we get her name? Did we decide what she was called?
Stock Girl.
Jerry.
I'll try and find it.
Laura. I don't know. Like I say, the love interest, and it's the lady that Ricky's had a rapport with and a good relationship with. But then it does transpire that actually it's the stock manager that she's possibly in a closer relationship with, because she willingly goes off with him sort of to
Pamela.
Yeah, to make out under the mistletoe.
Yeah.
But yes, douchebag stockman.
Yeah,
it gets a little bit too handsy, a little bit too quick, and
he is aggressive with it eventually.
Yeah.
And this is the point. This is the point.
This is the breaking
where
point.
Billy is done. Billy has basically transformed into the evil that started all this for him. It's come full circle. Billy has become said killer at the beginning that killed his parents and caused all this trauma, basically.
Oh. Sound's gone.
Sound?
I can't hear you.
Oh no. We'll be back, folks. Hello.
Oh, you're back.
Oh, I'm back.
I don't know what that was. Apologies.
Billy cut the cables outside Aidan's house. He's on his way in.
So yes, Billy, this is his breaking point. And you were saying?
What was I saying? We're doing a podcast, and Tom is thinking what he was saying. Yes, this is his turning point. He becomes what is a full circle. He becomes the evil that basically started this whole trauma trip for him since he was a young boy, and he struggles to really pick up that axe from the wall, which is his choicest weapon. You know, the axe is just carefully just placed on the wall,
which he does, but he does not struggle to pick up evil Stockman.
I'm glad you clocked this, because he has Jason strength.
He chokes him one-handed. He hangs him one-handed with a string of fairy lights.
Yep.
In an incredibly impressive feat of strength, which is in absolute opposition to the brawl he has later on with the other the topless teenage character.
The
yes,
boyfriend. in the cabin.
Yes.
Yeah. You're right. Yeah.
So to say he's in the first instance he can lift a grown man and hang him by one hand, hold him there long enough until he chokes out. He can't beat a young lad. Well, it takes him a while.
His HP had been depleted by then, so he needed a first aid kit or
that's it. His
health potion.
Point.
Yeah, it was gone down a bit. But it's with the Christmas lights, isn't it?
He does, He strangles him with the Christmas lights.
He strangles him.
Takes a strangled angle, and then takes a box cutter to Pamela, and slices her up somewhat rotten.
Yeah. I mean, she had it coming. Come on, let's be fair. Come on.
I mean,
come on.
Being a massive tease.
Come on. Yeah, exactly. I mean, come on now. God. No, we do not mean that here. She did not deserve. No one deserves to be killed here. We didn't mean that at all. No. So anyway, yes, he's begun his rampage. I believe Mr. Sims is next.
Mr. Sims is hammered,
Blasted.
both metaphorically and literally.
Did you write that down?
I did write that down.
That's very clever.
My full note is Mr. Sims is hammered both metaphorically and literally. That man had a depressing Christmas Eve, though. Basically just a bottle of whiskey at work.
Yeah, that's a sad way to go out, isn't it?
It was like
your sad toy store.
Got drunk after work and then beaten to death with a claw hammer.
Yeah, in your sad little toy store, got plastered with people you probably hate. In the job you hate, it was very clever writing you've done there. I'm very impressed.
Thank you.
That's why you got your Christmas gift. That's why you got the sub.
That's why I'm here.
Yeah, that's why you're here. Yeah, because I don't speak English well. And to cap off the Toy Store massacre is
it's the other lady, the other lady from the
Mrs. Randall.
She gets chopped with an axe, does she not?
But she deserves some credit because she actually is one of the smart victims.
Oh yeah.
You know, when she's being pursued around the store by Billy, you see it a few minutes before early on. She's wearing a fancy hat with a flower on, which comes back now to play where Billy's looking around the shelves, holding his axe, looking through the shelves, and he spots the hat with the flower. He thinks it's her, so jumps around the side to surprise her, but it's just stacked on top of a few boxes, which then she pounces on him, knocks him over, manages to run away. A little moment like that you rarely get from main cast and crew or victims in these horror films.
Yeah, and to be honest, earlier than that as well, when she finds Mr. Sims, when she opens the door and sees him, she does not hesitate and bolts straight for the exit.
Oh yeah, she's gone.
Like there's no hanging around. There's no like, oh, I wonder who did this and looking around. She's like, scream, out of here. She's like straight to the door.
She's not touching him, going, "Are you okay? Are you
got something got red on you?"
That hammer costs $15. You know that, right? Wait, $15? That's a very expensive hammer. And yeah, so this is where the bow and arrow comes into play. Just out of the blue, pops her. The thing is, though, this really bothered me with her, is that she had this really smart moment, but then when she got to the door, which was locked, she couldn't think how else to escape. The wall is glass. It's all glass. Just chuck something at the wall and get out of there. Because she picks up the axe.
Yeah.
Right. So
I think so.
Swing at the glass.
Yeah.
No, because then that would show the outside. Can't do that.
There's some Teamster eating a donut.
Yeah. There's a camera crew at the back. Did you do you know what version you watched of this film?
No.
Where did you watch it?
I watched it on Amazon. I rented it on Amazon Prime.
Oh man, I could have given you to this actually. I've got both versions. I've got the unrated and the normal version.
So I don't know which one it was. I think we've gone through this before, and it doesn't actually tell you, does it?
No, but basically there is an unrated version, which I don't know if we've talked about of any films on here, but one that comes to my mind the most is My Bloody Valentine. If you get a copy of that, you'll notice, if it's the unrated or the director's cut version, there's a lot of shots that look like their color grading is completely off because they were cut shots. There's a lot of that in this, so if you didn't experience that, then you've probably got the normal version of Silent Night, Deadly Night. But the one I watched, where especially around the toy store, there's a lot of cut shots where the color grading is completely off, and especially there's one with her kill where you see he fires the arrow into her and it goes into her and you see it sticking out the back, blood coming down, and then she collapses into the pile of fake snow and the train circling her.
I don't know.
Okay, well, there's a few shots there that are cut. I mean, this film got pulled from the cinema because of its rating, because of its extremeness. So there did seem to be a lot of shots cut from it. They're not that graphic, really. I mean, today's standard. Back then, I guess, yeah. It's more of a case of it's Santa killing people. The idea of Santa killing people. So yeah, Mrs. Randall, dead. That's everyone in the toy store. Done.
Yeah.
Toy store's closed for the foreseeable future.
That is.
We now move on to the Winter Wonderland killings of Linnea Quigley and her boyfriend having a great time on the pool table in this random cabin.
Have a lot to say about this scene as well. Because
go for it, my friend. Go for it.
Ridiculous. So we have, like you say, we have Miss Quigley and her fella making out, some good old-fashioned making out. It's uncertain. I don't think it's either of their houses, is it? I think she's babysitting.
Yeah, it was looking after a cat, that's for sure.
She's babysitting and has invited her boyfriend over, I think, is the sort of setup. So we get the little girl sort of shouting down the stairs like, oh, is Santa coming or whatever? And there's a little exchange where because at this point she's topless on a pool table.
No, I don't believe it.
and yeah, in danger of being discovered by her young charge. So there's a lot of sort of go back to bed, and Santa won't come if you don't go back to bed. So go back to bed now. So she does. Off she goes, and now I think that's it. She has said to the little girl, "Don't come down. We're doing homework." So after the little girl goes, her boyfriend comes out with the immortal line, "Let's get back to our studies." And as he lays her back on the pool table, also says, "Number 2 ball in the corner pocket." Which,
while he's got clothes still on.
I mean, yeah. Also that, but if I'd have been with somebody and they'd have said that to me, I would have dried up instantly. That'd have been it. I'd have been like, you know what?
Oh, you bad boy.
Probably time for you to go home.
Yeah.
But actually, earlier in the scene, at the beginning of the scene, there are carol singers outside, and as they're trying to get down to it, he says he can't concentrate with the carol singers, so he puts some music on, which just so happens to be his Christmas sex jam mixtape, because it's some sort of Christmas themed jazz music that comes on the stereo, and he's like, "Oh yeah, that's fine."
That whole, I feel like that's a bit of a trope, and not just in horror but films. Maybe not so much nowadays of, you know, put on a bit of music to lighten the mood, to get busy with. It's a bit more like a specific. He has a specific Christmas.
I mean, it's all Christmas music. It's all Christmas music. So it does suggest that that's what he was listening to later in the day. So carol singers aren't doing it for him.
Not doing anything.
Jazz musician singing royalty-free Christmas music. I don't think it was a real song. That's fine. That doesn't put him off his stroke. But yeah, then he makes this horrible pool ball joke. At which point we hear some jingle bells, and
yes, I love that you know when he's coming. You can hear the feet, the jingle bells of the feet coming. Yeah, it's great.
So we hear the jingle bells, and she jumps up. Denise jumps up because she thinks it's the cat. Oh, I've got to go and let the cat in. Pulls on a tiny pair of denim short shorts and nothing else, and goes upstairs completely topless to the front door. All the while,
completely
she's practically
topless,
naked. Like, opens the door looking for the cat. You know, the little girl who she didn't want to catch in the act could have been wandering around, but no, she put those. It's a real good job. She put on those tiny little Daisy Dukes. Otherwise, she wouldn't have been decent at all.
No. She knew her part. She knew what to wear just to check on the cat.
Yeah.
Is it this point Billy shows up? I believe
it is. Billy shows up.
Punish.
It's not the cat. Well, it is the cat, but yeah, he comes to punish. I mean, he chops through the door, doesn't he?
Punish. Yeah, which is quite funny that if after her death, which we'll get into in a second, boyfriend called
I don't know.
Denise and Tommy. Of course, it's Tommy. Tommy then goes to the door, which is completely destroyed, and the cat's sitting next to it, and he may as well be like, "Did you do this?"
Yeah, there is a moment where I think that's what he's going to say.
Yeah. Did you break this door? But do you remember the last film we talked about not long ago with Linnea Quigley in?
Yeah, sure. Night of the Living Dead, not Night of the Living Dead. Return of the Living Dead.
Yes, Trash is getting the kill off again. Yeah. She's also in stuff like Night of the Demons, Sorority Babes in the wait, what is that? That's a different one. Sorority Babes in the Slime Ball Bowlerama, Hollywood Chains. Have you seen it?
I've seen that. Yeah.
Hollywood Chainsaw Hookers. That's been on my list for a while. Creepazoids and Jacko. I've seen Jacko. Oh, she's in Savage Streets as well. Savage Streets is great
as well. Yeah.
With Linda Blair. That's great. But anyway, yeah. So Linda Blair's death. Linda Blair is not in this film. Linnea Quigley's death. There happens to be one hell of a. Is it a deer? It's a deer with its antlers, right? Was it a reindeer?
Deer with antlers. It's not a reindeer, I don't think. Reindeer. But deer with antlers.
Yeah, and does she put up somewhat of a fight? I don't think he just picks her up. I feel like she puts up some.
Oh, see, I think the opposite. I think he literally does.
Just grabs
I think
her.
she may. There's maybe a weak attempt to escape, but Billy very quickly just overpowers her and lifts her up, and impales her on the horns, on the antlers.
Yes, which again has a cut shot in the unrated version. I think it might be the part where he's kind of witnessing what he's done. You see her hanging there, which I don't know. Would she die that quickly? I don't know. I feel like she'd bleed out a lot more. I don't know if she would die that quickly.
I mean, I think if you want to be really picky, it wouldn't hold the weight and she'd fall off quite quickly. Like the whole stuff would come down. But
hell of a rule plug.
I mean, it's probably not been hung up there with the intent of then hanging somebody else off there as well. So, but yeah, I mean, it'd probably take you a long time to die.
Yeah,
really.
I think it would. Bloody hell.
It would be, excruciating agony for hours, akin to crucifixion or something like that. I would have thought. Yeah. You're probably not blacking out too well. You'd maybe black out from the pain, but not a nice way to go. And
we have Tommy up next, the boyfriend, the lover boy, the sex king, the master of ceremonies, master of words, who does put up a fight with the. He does.
I mean, he does. Puts up, like I say, it puts up quite a surprising fight, considering we know what the what Tommy, what Billy is capable of, and his crazy strength. They duke it out for quite a while, slamming into things, and eventually he hoys him through the window, which is what finishes him off.
Yeah, and if you look at that, the shot of Tommy on the ground, you look at it carefully, you can see the shards of glass sticking out. He's got a huge one sticking out of his gut, which I don't think I clocked the first time.
No,
I think he's got one in the middle of his face coming out, I'm trying to work out how that would even happen.
I mean, to be honest, I think in movies we see people go through windows with, and rarely do we see them actually getting cut by glass.
Yes, I agree to that. But
whereas I think I don't think you'd get impaled by big shards to the extent that he does in this. That's not what I'm saying. But it's good to show that it was good that they showed some glass injuries and not just it's the smash and the impact damage, because you would be throwing. I mean, modern glass shatters differently, and it shatters into
loads different types of glass shatter.
But like old windows like that shatter into big pieces of jagged glass. You would be absolutely cut to ribbons for getting thrown through a window, and nobody ever shows it.
No, it was more to the point for it to be impaled in him, because if he went sort of chucked through like that, and then sort of tucked and rolled, and then he was on his back, for the pressure of a shard like that to be gouged into him. I don't think that would be possible. I know I shouldn't be thinking so seriously like a film like this because of Santa getting absolutely popped in a few minutes' time, but it was a little nitbit that I kind of focus on with films like this. And one of my favorite bits, another favorite bit coming up is the young girl in this house.
Yeah.
He may as well have said to her, Billy spares her life.
He does.
Gives her the Stanley knife as a Christmas present, but may as well say, here, get your fingerprints on that.
It's good point. I mean, first of all, there's been an absolute racket going on in that house.
Yeah. Look,
I mean, there must be some thick walls, some good soundproofing, because like Tommy doesn't hear Denise getting impaled and all of that sort of stuff. Then the little girl doesn't hear that or Tommy getting thrown through the window. That is a good little moment where he presents her with the still bloody box cutter that was previously used to slice up his...
I don't think it's a box cutter. I think it's actually a Stanley knife.
Yeah.
I mean, a box cutter, if in theory, turns into like a long blade when you extend it all the way. And they're a lot. They're a lot more fragile. I feel like a box cutter than a Stanley.
Yeah. It's that kind of, rather than like a kitchen knife, though. I mean,
It's that kind of knife. But she's just left with this bloody Stanley knife. Is it? I feel as well like it's after this where we get another incredible kind of just. It's only in the film to fill the part of, okay, the police are on the prowl for a Santa. Who's going around killing people. Oh no, sorry, it's not this bit. Billy, we get the kids sledding.
We get the kids. We get the kids sledding.
No idea who they are. They just have a problem with each other.
They are just. Right. Again, a lot to say about this because it entertained me so much. So I'll just read my note.
Yeah.
Who are these two lads sledging on Christmas Eve? Absolute squares. All of these lads are far too fucking old to be sledding on Christmas Eve. One of them is like 36 at least. So yeah, it's two lads who are far too old to be out sledding on Christmas Eve or any time for that matter. They're both easily in their 20s, and they are sort of jumped by the sort of stereotypical neighborhood bullies or whatever, who are two even older lads that must be
way older,
mid-30s at least, who basically they bully them so they can take their sleds off them and go sledding in their stead. It's like, it's Christmas Eve at like midnight at least at this point.
That's what they want to do.
Why?
That's what they want to do.
Why are they not in a bar?
Look how excited they get.
Home with their families.
But look how excited they get when they do sled. Like, woohoo! Yeah!
I know. There must be nothing to do in this town. There must be
nothing.
So little to do.
I mean, the toy store's closed now, so...
I mean, that's it. That's literally, that is it. Yeah, so...
The first kids survive. The first kids, because obviously they get scared away by the bullies.
Yeah.
But the bullies, I believe it's only one of them that gets decapitated by Billy.
Yeah, because he gets his head chopped as he's coming down the hill.
Yeah. Punish.
I don't think anything happens to the other one.
No, I think he runs off.
We do see a good shot of the decapitated head next to the body. It's good effect. I thought the effects was good.
Effects in general for this film. It's not a gory film. But the effects in this, the effects are very good in this film, though. Regardless, it was after this, which is where the police are informed that there is a Santa on the loose killing people.
Yes,
where we see the two super cops driving around on the patrol looking for a Santa. Where they spot a Santa climbing up a ladder into an upstairs window, which ends up being a kid's window, and they're on it. They're on it. They park up. They barge into that house, guns out, ready to kick in that door. Now, freeze, sucker! And it turns out to be the girl's dad.
Yes.
But the mum, who runs up the stairs behind them, has a face of complete bewilderment and confusion. Like she didn't know he was doing this. And also, if I was a kid, which... surprisingly to many people out there, I used to be one many years ago. If my dad climbed into my window while I was sleeping, dressed in Santa, I think I'd be freaked the hell out.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd have the emotional response of Santa's here, Santa. Even if I did believe in Santa, there's a man climbing through my window.
Yeah,
it's terrifying. What a brilliant idea. What a swell idea for this guy.
100%.
But these cops aren't trigger happy, because I actually think that would have been even more hilarious if they just popped him in front of his daughter. If they just unloaded on this guy in front of his daughter. It's like, sorry, ma'am. And they just go about their business.
And we just get a montage of every Santa in town being just shot down in cold blood, which essentially is what happens with the rest of the movie. We do just have an extended series of Santa murders, where Santa's the victim and not the perpetrator. I mean, just so it's after this that we get they work out that Billy is attempting to head back to the orphanage, but there's one of the young girls in the orphanage has left the phone off the hook, so they're unable to contact the building.
She was using the phone to talk for her doll to talk to someone.
Yeah,
like role playing. But at this time as well, the younger nun who's kind of on Billy's side, like not on his side, but understanding what's going through, is trying to help him. Is sort of like 2 steps behind Billy, like with the police, trying to find out what's going on. And yeah, this is where Super Deputy, who there's a lot of characters in this film that are just sort of boom, now they're on screen, not really introduced.
I can't remember. He's the police inspector or something. Lieutenant somebody played by Robert Culp. He's a lieutenant.
Look, but either way, we're not introduced. We're not introduced. We just see him at the station along with the nun, and I think they get a call of, "Let's go. We got to go," and they're out of there. There's nothing really to introduce us to this lieutenant.
No, and he's almost portrayed as being almost like a Dr. Loomis figure. Like they've been waiting for Billy to snap, and now was his chance to go after him, because it's on board with it straight away, and it's like, right, yeah, we'll get him, we'll nail this sucker. They're sort of
good comparison, actually. I hadn't thought about that about Loomis.
Yeah, they're chasing him down, and it's almost it's like I suppose the nice nun fits that sort of role as well. That because she knows that he has these issues and stuff, and perhaps it was, from her point of view, it was only a matter of time. But yeah, this is where we get the fantastic scene that we discussed at the top of the show.
It's superb. It is superb.
And I've just realised my other note. Is let's hope the cop didn't make a mistake this time as he caps Santa Claus in front of the children, and that because that was on the back of the busting into the house with the father, and then literally the next note is they shot Santa Claus in front of a bunch of orphans, and it turns out it was a deaf priest, and absolutely nobody gives a fuck.
Nope, he is still currently outside right now as we speak. He's still out there.
But yeah, that cop is like he says something about I can't explain it, and I love that he's like, "Oh, I'm here for your safety, and don't let anyone in unless you know exactly who it is." And when he is literally the one that just shot the wrong man.
Yeah. Yeah.
He has no place to be the authority figure he's trying to be.
Let me explain what's going on here. Yeah, don't worry about that body. Don't look at that body. We're gonna sort this out. We're gonna get. No, stop it, Billy. We're gonna get Billy. It's fine. Don't worry. He's fine. He fell over and landed on some bullets. Some stray bullets.
Some mulligan. It's a do-over. Just that one didn't count. Forget about it.
We get a little scene as well where Super Cop is on patrol around the orphanage, because the orphanage is just like a building. I mean, this feels like it's in like the Rockies in the Midwest. I'm not sure about the actual settings, but it feels very much like Colorado, Midwest sort of area. And this building is in the middle of nowhere, but we see Super Cop patrolling around the building. He finds this sort of outhouse-looking building, which is the doors just clinging, and goes downstairs. And I assume it's like a generator. Maybe it looks like a generator. And is this where he gets killed? Is at the top of? He comes back to the top of the stairs. I feel like it's where Billy kills him at the top of the stairs.
Yeah, I think so. I didn't pay much attention to his death, to be honest. He gets
Officer Barnes. There we go. Continue.
Officer Barnes.
He's struck in the chest by Billy's axe. But basically when he's controlling them. And we also have now Mother Superior, who's now in a wheelchair.
Yeah. And seemingly a lot nicer as well.
She's in the
It's
wheelchair.
like, I feel like she's mellowed in her old age, and she's not quite the formidable dragon lady she is. Or she was for Billy. She is sort of encouraging the children to all sing some Christmas carols.
Film kind of gets wrapped up around this point.
It's pretty quick. It is pretty quick.
Yeah.
So yeah, the Super Cop gets killed. Mother Superior has the children singing. One kid sees Billy through the door, through the window, and goes to let him in. And as he's approaching Mother Superior to give her the chop, Inspector Connolly busts in and caps it,
Legs
making it
splayed.
Yes, making it the second Santa Claus that these children have seen gunned down in cold blood in the space of about half an hour. Which is gonna it's just extra. And one of them is the brother of this latest victim.
It's super. Yeah, in front of his brother. I'm not sure if the Santa before was killed in front of Ricky as well.
I mean, I just assumed he was out there playing in the snow with all the other kids. I don't think we're specifically told it is, but like there were enough children in that. In the play area or front yard or whatever you want to call it.
Throwing dirty, grimy snow at each other.
They're orphans. They're happy enough. They don't need much.
No, they don't. And yeah, Billy's taken out before he can chop up Mother Superior, which kind of sucks because she had it coming.
Yeah, like you say, it's kind of easy to feel sympathetic towards Billy as a character because he is. It's a little bit of falling down, isn't it? He is a man that was just pushed to the brink.
Yeah,
by external forces and not really his own.
It was everything out of his control. Everything was out of his control. Yeah, I mean, but what would have been worse for the kids in the orphanage, seeing their, I guess, I don't want to say, mother figure being hacked to death by Santa, or Santa, who they love, being popped in front of them twice.
Yeah. I mean, that's it as well. That's got to be extra confusing if you're already on the fence about whether Santa exists or not. You see two get killed in... Or it introduces the notion that Santa is some sort of undead figure.
And where would Billy go from there once he's killed Mother? Because that's his end goal. Really.
I mean, I guess it is. You've got to assume it is. Like, he's gonna... I mean, he's never we're never told where he's living either. Like, so no. Is he still a resident of the orphanage? Would he have, like... axed Mother Superior and then taken his hat off and gone upstairs and just got into bed for a nap? Bit of lie down. He had been out all night.
Well, it all... Well, as far as... It all happens within one night, right? The toy store.
It's Christmas Eve through to Christmas morning, isn't it?
Yeah, so it only happens within one night. And before that, like
but
I said,
he'd been up all night drinking as well. You know,
he had a couple.
He'd had some booze and he'd been stayed up all night. I'd be shattered. I'd definitely want to be like...
tired now. But he's 17. So I don't think he'd be drinking that much.
Yeah.
But even before this, like I said earlier, where was he living? Was he working at the store while still living at the orphanage?
I'm assuming, given that it's the nice nun that essentially gets him the job.
Yeah.
I think it's like... Yeah, he's about to turn 18, which means he'll be under his own control. And this is sort of the last thing they do. So he'd be like, set him up with a job. You've got 6 months until you're 18. You've got a job now. Look for a place, because once you're 18, God doesn't love you anymore and you can't live here.
Go commit all the sin you want.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we end with our sequel bait of Ricky witnessing his brother being brother / Santa. That's a twofer. That's a twofer right there.
Yep.
being popped by the cop, and he utters the words "naughty,"
See.
which is very much basically come full circle again as to what happened with Billy.
Yeah. I mean, but as a reaction to seeing your brother killed in front of you,
naughty.
It's really understated, isn't it?
Yeah, it's yeah.
Telling.
Oh.
You in trouble.
So yeah, it's. Joe, I feel like the way we've gone through this film completely, completely shows how well the pacing of this film is. The pacing is on point with this film. There's never really a dull moment. It's constantly going, this film.
And for the most part, everything's relevant. As I said, it's questionable about the Santa father.
Yeah. That's just to add to the story of we're looking for a Santa.
It's not it's not like completely. It's only short, you know what I mean, and it's one scene. It's not like it's we're inundated with them. Yeah, no, it clips along. Everything's relevant. It works. It's funny. It's got funny moments, but I think a lot of that's to do with its age and maybe the quality of the acting and stuff. It's just a little bit cheesy. It's what we talked about with Christmas Bloody Christmas. We wanted that like sort of cheesy camp air to it, which Christmas Bloody Christmas didn't have, and this has. Yeah, in spades. It's great. I was thoroughly entertained watching it. I was laughing my ass off towards the end. Thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's not a comedy film and it's not an intentional B-movie film, but it's fun, and the way parts are executed, no pun intended for our Santa. His part was very well executed, but it came across so silly I think more so because of what we learn about him and that's the funny part when you're learning. Yeah, it was the priest. And he's deaf. That's the funnier part than Santa being popped in front of kids. Yeah. I
mean, it's just it works really well. We get a good story about basically one man's being driven to commit the heinous acts of violence. Framed, wrapped up in this sort of Christmas parcel. Because it's a Santa, and it makes sensible use of the holiday season and the reason for him being a killer, and
completely.
It works really well. There's logic for him putting on the suit. It's not just he snaps and decides to do it. We get some backstory. It worked really well and was. A little bit of a surprise that we got it, to be honest, because I was kind of expecting a little bit more of suddenly there's a killer and he's dressed as Father Christmas. I wasn't expecting this backstory that we got. So yeah, it worked really well for me. Did that, and I was it was good. It was well executed and good to see.
I'm really happy you enjoyed it. I kind of knew you would. And it also falls into. It's one of the best slashers I think I've ever seen. It's one of my favourite slasher films because it is a slasher, really.
I think so.
And I think it's up there with Black Christmas as my favourite Christmas horror films because we talked about last time. Christmas horror is not easy to do. You've only got a few things you can focus on, like this one and like the last film, Santa being the killer. Yeah. It might not be whoever's underneath the Santa outfit, it doesn't matter, but Santa's the killer. There we go. This had a better context and story behind it as to why Santa was the killer than last film. So if it's done well like that, you're golden.
Yeah, I'd agree. Definitely.
I'm really intrigued to the sequels. I'm not intrigued to the second one because I know. I mean, we'll do it eventually, maybe even next year. I think. There we go. Next 5 years, next 5 Christmases, we'll go through Silent Night, Deadly Night.
Well,
Quint. Is it? It's not a trilogy. It's not a quadrilogy. Is it a quint?
It's a quintilogy.
Quintilogy. The five films of Christmas. So we've got Silent Night, Deadly Night 2, Part 2, Silent Night, Deadly Night 3, Better Watch Out, which is a focus on Billy's younger brother Ricky becoming a serial killer, which... Oh, it's the same as Part 2. Part 2 and 3 do that. It's both with Ricky.
So we've got 3. So the first 3 are... I've just found a Reddit post about it. And
go for it, yeah.
are a trilogy. 4 and 5 are standalone sequels, supposedly.
Which are called Silent Night, Deadly Night 4 Initiation, which is a weird subtitle, and Deadly Night 5 The Toy Maker. Okay. There's apparently a loose remake as well. A loose remake called Silent Night from 2012. But then there was also a film called Silent Night, I believe, that came out a few weeks ago with Joel Kinnaman. I'm not sure what it's actually about. I think it's an action film. But then other films like that, we've got Violent Night, which was
I
David
really want to see that at
Harbour
some point.
from last year.
And,
a lot of similar name films
John,
like that. John Leguizamo.
Leguizamo, that's it. I can never pronounce
Clown
it. I always hesitate
from
to
Spawn.
his name. Yes. Luigi from the Super Mario Brothers movie.
And I can't remember his name from Romeo and Juliet.
Tybalt, Prince of Cats. In I forget his name in Land of the Dead.
That doesn't matter. It's fine. That's fine. Don't worry about that.
He's also in that.
Film's not very good.
No, it's not.
It's not very good. No. Yeah, that's Silent Night, Deadly Night. Hell of a Christmas film. I'm not even going to state that as Christmas horror film. Hell of a Christmas film.
It's a good Christmas film. I can definitely see me watching this. So yesterday earlier in the week I watched Die Hard as well, which is another sort of fairly regular Christmas film. But I could definitely see me watching Silent Night, Deadly Night around Christmas.
Good man.
For years to come. 100%.
Yeah, it definitely falls in the category of your list of Christmas films that you whip out every year for Christmas. I think it should. So it's a big recommendation here, and I think it's been done dirty on IMDb because it's only got a 5. Oh no. Okay, never mind. I read that as a 4.8 to begin with, but it's 5.8. 5.8/6 out of 10 is absolutely fine. I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Absolutely fine. I really like the poster as well of the chimney, the roof chimney.
The arm down the chimney.
Yeah, with the axe in hand. That's great.
Yeah.
I think that's a real classic slasher. And the tagline being, "You've made it through Halloween, now try and survive Christmas."
I mean, again, this came in at like peak. Sequels are cheap to make. Not sequels. Slashers are cheap to make and potentially could make us a fortune. Yeah. Let's make some slashers.
It did make a fortune. I believe it was a crazy low budget, and it made a couple of million on it. $750,000 budget, made just under 3 million. That's great for a slasher in the mid 80s, at the peak. That's fantastic.
That's what I mean. It's peak slasher period, isn't it? That's...
Yeah, the other ones were kind of spread out throughout the years. What years were the other ones? So part 2 was 87. Part 3 was 89. 4 was 90. Okay, they weren't that spread out. Never mind. I thought they were further spread out. Was part 3 to 5 were every year.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, the Friday the 13th franchise was the same. There's only 83 that we didn't get one.
That's a case of we know this works. Let's pump them out.
Yeah. And everybody was essentially trying to recreate that kind of franchise success, or have something that was gonna make bank on a low budget, easy to make, quick to make. Essentially, you're laughing. Yeah, no, good pick, Tom. Really enjoyed this one. Absolute.
Well, technically, we did get our good and bad horror Christmas horror films this year. We did get it. I mean, I knew this one would be regarded, no matter what, a good film. So we were kind of just hinging on yours being rubbish, which it was.
I mean,
so
it was. I took a punt on something fairly new. I wasn't expecting great things. Wasn't disappointed.
I was disappointed.
Ticked all the boxes, really. Yeah. Right, shall we start wrapping things up?
Let's wrap this shit up. So there fortunately we will not be doing advent calendar. Maybe we just move it to January. It's still, maybe let's do it in January.
It can be belated. I mean, we've got nothing picked for January yet, have we? So
we'll move advent calendar to January. Just because Christmas season is getting a bit busy now, so there will be no episode next week, but we'll be back following week to cap off the year with 2023 wrap up. I've got a few more films I want to check out this week, and if I don't get around to all my list, don't get around to it. It's fine. I'm sure we'll do films in the future.
The following week, it'll be the week after.
It'll be the week after, folks. Excuse me. My producer's there, just telling me, just correcting me. Yeah.
I mean, unless you're doing it on your own, I would say I won't be there.
That felt like it before. So yeah, we'll come back to that end of the year, beginning of the new year, 2023 wrap up. And then we'll get into the new year with a brand new list of, I don't know, because I don't know of any new horrors that are coming out in the next couple of months, if I'm honest.
No.
Let's have a quick look. January 2024 horror.
What we need to do is
what do we need to do?
We need to we need to make some decisions on some films, basically, is what we need to do. But whether we start a new series, whether we focus on some things in particular,
we do need to do a new series. We will. I think yes. Good man. Yes, I agree. We need to freshen it up for the new year.
That's
we'll
it.
Have some new.
So because we're going to be wrapping up the Universal Monsters soon. We're going to be, as you said, it might be that new releases are a little bit thin on the ground. We need to do some new stuff.
Yep, perfect. We will look into that, and we'll come back fresh in the new year with some brand new content and new series. Awesome, and we'll definitely add the suck thing to the list.
And we'll definitely add
we
that
have
one.
to. We have to
do that.
But yeah, that is something like Deadly Night. Go check it out. Highly recommended by both of us. That's your Christmas film of the year. You can check this out and all past content on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon, Podbean, and YouTube. All by searching the Dreadcast, and you can find it on the socials: TikTok, Instagram, and X/Twitter. I'm going to start saying X soon properly by searching the _Dreadcast. Now, one more thing before we go. We, I believe, do we have
something in the mailbag?
I saw something come through on my phone this week, and I had to swipe it by because I was busy at work, but we'll have a quick look.
Yes, you can also send us a message, a little cheeky email to our mailbag at the dreadcastpodcast@gmail.com. We are... Well, I'm not begging anymore, but it's nice to get a message. And cool, so what have we got? Please tell me this is like a legit thing and not spam.
Hang on, I did see it. Hang on, no. I'm confident I saw something from friend of the show, Dean.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's been a while since we've heard from Dino.
Yeah. Where was it? It wasn't on Twitter, was it? I know I saw something come through from him. Oh, this is embarrassing now, isn't it?
It is a little bit.
Didn't delete it, did I? It's like, I can't bother with you.
Whatever.
That's bloody bollocks.
I hope not. But yeah, if you've listened, Dean, apologies for that.
Oh no, I can't find it.
Oh no, that is a shame. Oh well, we'll have to dig that out for the new year as
We'll
well.
have to.
In the meantime,
Oh
that
no,
address again is the Dreadcast podcast at gmail.com.
and we'll definitely find it and store it and read it. I promise.
We will, 100%. And
Oh
is
no.
there anything else left to say?
Oh, I saw Godzilla -1. It's the best film of the year. It's absolutely incredible.
Oh, of course, you're going to say that. You're a huge lizard nerd.
I am a huge lizard nerd, but at the same time, it's utterly incredible as a
good?
film. As a film, it's insane.
Cool.
So I probably should have done that at the beginning, but who cares? Dean, I'll find your message and we'll get back to it next time. But until then, ho, ho, ho. Have a good Christmas, one and all.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas,
Have
one
a
and all.
happy New Year. Peace, love, big lashings of turkey, and stay spooky.
Stay spooky. Ching, 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 ching.